Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters. So, one of my viewers who does the gratefulness meditation and I think, has done sittings with a preceptor, so did heartfulness for a while. Told me that they're not doing the 9 p.m. universal prayer and heartfulness anymore, which of course they're not. I mean, I don't know if they canceled it because this is still up there. But she was looking for something on this channel, the Gratefulness Meditation channel. And I have it. I put this I did a clip of this before. I think it's in an introduction video that tells all the steps of the practice, or it's a video about the practice. I think there's a whole playlist about the practice. I'll look at the playlist again and put this in there. So this is the separate video about the universal 9 p.m. prayer. That I can title it that for people looking for this because there's nothing in heartfulness about it. And people shouldn't be looking at heartfulness anyway because you can't trust anything that they say because it's not, coming from the source. It's been, perverted and distorted. But this is from the Sahaj Marg website. What is Sahaj Marg, the practice, universal prayer? So if you do these search terms, you can find this. And there's a 7-minute audio of a talk given by Charji about the practice. You can find that. And this is how Babaji described it. At 9 p.m. sharp, every abhyasi, wherever he or she may happen to be at the time, should stop his or her work and meditate for 15 minutes. Thinking, this is what your thoughts are, thinking that all brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion, and that real faith is growing stronger in them. It shall be immense value to them, which their practical experience only shall reveal. And this is from Complete Works of Ramchandra, Volume 2, page 198. So the book, The Complete Works, Ramchandra, Volume 2, I don't know if that's available in PDF. It was also, I think, called Voice Real. Or it was a bunch of books that they put together, little books that he wrote and talks he gave and messages and things. And so, I do the 9 p.m. prayer. I've done it pretty much every night. I mean, if I fall asleep or I get distracted, forget about it for some reason. But other than that, I do it every night. And it's like probably my favorite part of the practice because, the cleaning and the meditation and the sittings are all great. But with the 9 p.m. prayer, at the end, transmission is flowing through you. And it never fails. I mean, not that the other parts of the practice fail, but it just gives me a boost every day. It gives you a chance to experience being a preceptor for a few minutes at the end of the last couple minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. Transmission is flowing out from you to the other people. You're acting as like a conduit for this. And it just gives a real boost. I mean, I always find it beneficial, in some way or another. And, it's the only part of the practice that's really about other people, but you still benefit from. I mean, everything that you do in your practice benefits other people because your evolution benefits other people. But this is specifically about other people. And for that reason, people didn't fucking do it. Like Babaji put it out there and nobody did it. So he withdrew it because he didn't want people disobeying him. It was just, sad that people couldn't do a little bit for other people. And, I went to one gathering after another and I never saw people doing it. And there was a time where I went to Daji's gathering, the Babaji birthday gathering 2016 before me and my kids came home. And there was some kind of thing going on in the meditation hall. And I think Madame Lynn was calling, the French medium. And, but before she called, it was 9 p.m. and there was time to do the prayer. Or after she called, like there was a video chat that Daji had with her, the medium. And I don't know if that's available anywhere. But no one had ever really heard her voice or seen her. The majority of us who had the opportunity to visit her. But I think that was the same night. I might be, conflating a couple different nights. But there was a night that we were in the tent with him, the meditation hall. And he had the opportunity to do the 9 p.m. prayer. And he didn't do it. And he could have done it with everyone. And I don't necessarily think Charji did it with everyone, but sometimes he would. It was not, people would sit around him, and he wouldn't say, "Oh, it's 9 p.m. Let's stop and do the prayer." So it wasn't really pushed out there so much. But Dodgy completely abandoned it, and I'd been to one gathering after another, and people just didn't do it. And one of the preceptors, there are some preceptors, 6 preceptors in the center that I started in Massachusetts, and there was a couple there, and they had sort of tension with my preceptor Fred, and the couple was meticulous about their practice. They did, instead of doing a half-hour cleaning, they did 40 minutes. Like they're really into the cleaning part. They gave the guy particularly gave talks about the cleaning part. And I'd gone to their house a few times with Satson, but I never received a sitting from them. And I received a sitting from the husband. He was the better of the Abiyasis. He was at one point in charge, the preceptor in charge of America, and he was really devoted and a good Abiyasi, and he gave great sitting. So I got a sitting from him, and it was an amazing sitting. And the sitting ended like a few minutes before 9 p.m. And I was like wicked fucking excited about the sitting, right? It was my first year of practice. And I was like, wow, that was an amazing sitting. Let's do the 9 p.m. prayer together. And he was like, well, okay, fine, yeah, like that. He was a great Abiyasi, and he was meticulous about his practice. But his wife and daughters were like coming home. They were probably going to watch something on TV. So I think they wanted to get rid of me. And we did it for 7 minutes, and it was the most uncomfortable 7 minutes. Like I knew he wasn't doing it, and and it was weird. And like our relationship was always weird after that. And, his wife was even weird. She's the one that accused me of trying to force myself to be made a preceptor. I talk about this in the Journey series. But like even these people who are meticulous about their about their practice, didn't do the prayer. And it's kind of sad because it benefits people. They don't even know does. And, it benefits everyone, even if you didn't feel any benefit yourself, which you do. Like anytime you engage with the system, you benefit from it. You're engaging with the energy. But, the beneficial part is that other people, the world comes to spirituality, which is, something that helps everybody. And so, it's very easy to do. And it's a little bit hard because like you're watching TV and you have to stop at 9, or you're, talking to friends, or you're doing something, your kids, or, any number of things. It's hard to be aware it's 9 o'clock. But over the years, I've done it so much, even when I was at work, I was able to do it, anywhere. Like if I was, and I don't recommend this is not something for other people to try, but, I would do it with my eyes open when I was driving or as at work and things, depending on your job. I often found when I was working at the treatment centers, the treatment center I worked where the hours were from 2 in the afternoon to 10 o'clock. So I'd be working. This is my first year of practicing the system. And I'd often find myself in a timeout room with some kid. These kids had to sit in a timeout room. You had to sit with them. And oftentimes if they were getting restrained or they were acting up, 9 p.m. would roll around and they would just settle down. And I would see their aura would be this carpeted room. And like I would be doing the prayer with my eyes open. And I would be, thinking about the prayer. And they would settle. And oftentimes they would cry or they would get emotional, like they would, and they were totally unaware of what I was doing was going on. And so it was, really proof for me of how effective it was that these kids who were, basically little sex offenders coming from horrible situations and horrible families and had been taken out of society and placed in these treatment centers to teach them to be, not predatory, horrible kids. Most of them would be institutionalized. And even they settled. Like 2 of the worst kids, I was in a timeout room when this happened, and I doing the prayer, and they settled, and they both started crying and saying like real shit, like real emoting. And I didn't even say anything. Like they just started doing it. Like, they asked me a question or something happened. Like they engaged in conversation. I'm praying and I'm giving like short answers or whatever. And we're in some kind of dialogue, and they just started to open up and emote and these things. It was bizarre, right? I was, quite impressed by the effects of the prayer, and they were completely oblivious to it, right? And so, I know it works, and it benefits you, and it benefits society, and more people should do it. But it just the way that heartfulness is gone, it would definitely not be something they would be pushing out there, because it's I mean, I doubt they get people even to do their own practice. People don't do the practice, they don't read the books, and then they go to gatherings and they don't experience they go to satsang or sittings, but they don't experience anything because they're gross and they're not becoming more sensitive and they're not investing in the system, and they don't know they don't know the philosophy, and they're just doing it for some less good reason. But anyways, that's the prayer stuff. So again, you can find the description of the prayer. I'll copy that audio so I have it here in case they delete that page at some point. I don't know why they would do that, but they may. And so, but you can listen to Chargie's talk if it's still there. Again, today is Wednesday, February 26th. I did the sitting this morning instead of Tuesday, so I'll put this video up on Thursday. And I'll also include this in the Journey series. I'll include this whole video in the Journey series. But it's like a lost part of the practice that people aren't doing the whole practice, so why would they do this? They won't do the stuff that's for this themselves, so why would they do something for other people? I mean, it's a sad state of affairs, right? I mean, just spiritual people who are wanting to connect to God, make the world a better place, and they can't spend 15 minutes a night, and even just do it when you can. Maybe you can't do it every night, but just if you did one night a week, but they just won't do that. It's kind of sad. But anyways, the information's there for you guys who are interested in it. Only spirituality will save this world. It's power motto, definitely pointing for the Apocalaughs. And the Ascension, everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.